guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay, everyone, it is February 12th, Monday, and it's 9:52 p.m. I'm getting a very, very late start, and I know that I said yesterday we were expecting a storm today, and with blowing winds, high amounts of snow, freezing rain, the whole 9 yards, and that I would, have nothing to do but videos today. Well, as it turned out, it ended up being kind of like a Jeb Bush kind of day, low energy. So anyway, I'm getting a very late start, and I apologize, but better late than never. And tomorrow, I hope that I will get a much earlier start. Anyway, what we're going to be doing is we're going to knock out the Q posts. Q has been posting today. Plus, there's another couple of posts that we missed from yesterday because I had Q posted after I had uploaded my video. So we're going to knock those out of the way first. Didn't think that there was enough for a separate video for those two posts. And then we're going to get right into the 12th. Hopefully I can do it in one video. May have to split it into two. Let's go. All right. So this is the picking up exactly from where we left off in the last video here on February 11th. We're just going to get these two out of the way first. And Q posted this from an Anon. Actually, an Anon posted this screenshot to the board, and it shows a woman. Now, that is not a t-shirt she's wearing. That is like a square cloth with Q, and where we go one, we go all. Printed on it, and she's holding it up. I guess that's one way to get around the people that are telling them that they can't wear the t-shirts into the rally. So he posted that, and below it he posted this, which is a closer shot of the exact same thing. Here is the woman, and she's holding up the Q sign, and Trump actually calls her out, points to her. Now below that, this Anon said, not a t-shirt. She laid a square cloth with the Q on it when POTUS came by. Perfect idea when they don't allow Q shirts in. I agree. Now below it, Q gave us a link to somebody's Twitter account. So let's go take a look at that now. And we're going to be looking at the exact same thing from somebody's Twitter account, somebody that was there that took this picture. I would assume it was them that took the picture. It says, for my QAnon peeps. And here is Donald Trump, and in front of the Q, we can see it here. I'm not going to turn up the sound because there's music playing and it's copyrighted. So there's not really anything said anyway except for clapping and music. So that is just, that is where obviously they found this, or the Anon found this, or perhaps this person actually posted it to 8chan, not sure. And it says, wow, I'm extremely honored and proud to get a QAnon acknowledgement. I'm so excited. I'm going to have a hard time sleeping. And I think it would be exciting to have QAnon call you out. And anyway, let's go back and see what Q has to say. All right. Now, Q says, POTUS, and he is reenacting, I guess, a conversation that he had with the president. POTUS asks him, did they get the clip? Yes, Mr. President. POTUS, did they catch all the references? Yes, Mr. President. POTUS, show me. Thank you, Mr. John Vineyard. And that is the Twitter account that we just went out to. So Q is thanking John Vineyard for the photo and also for the Anons. Thank you, Anons. Thank you, Mr. John Vineyard. Thank you, Anons. Return publicly, Q. So, yeah, obviously the camera caught that. So, yeah, I think probably everybody that was watching caught the Q. So it was public. All right. And we're going to go up from that to the next post. And this was the very last post from February 11th, yesterday, Sunday night. And an Anon says, here to the end, sir. And Q responds, you will never be alone. We are united. Godspeed, Patriot. Where we go one, we go all. Q. So that is the end of the post. Pretty self-explanatory there, nothing really to explain. And that is the end of the post from yesterday, Sunday, the 11th, February 11th. And now we are going to go on to the post from today. All right. And I'm excited about it. I really am. Even though I'm sort of Jeb Bushing today, I'm still kind of excited about it. All right. Okay, so this is the first post from today, and Q, first of all, gives us a link to go to, and that's what we're going to go to first. Shut down some of these so that, all right. And it says FBI scrambled to respond to Hillary Clinton lawyer amid Wiener laptop review, newly released emails show. Now, I have a feeling this is going to start playing, and I want to be, maybe not. Yep, it is. Hang on.
As the #1 choice of Canadian nurses.
Sorry. All right. Pop-ups. I hate them. I even have a pop-up blocker. Newly released internal FBI emails show the agency's highest-ranking officials scrambling to answer Hillary Clinton's lawyer in the days prior to the 2016 presidential election. On the same day, then FBI Director James Comey sent a bombshell letter to Congress announcing a new review of hundreds of thousands of potentially classified emails found on former Representative Anthony Weiner's laptop. The trove of documents turned over by the FBI in response to a lawsuit by the transparency group Judicial Watch also included discussions by former FBI lawyer Lisa Page concerning a potential quid pro quo between the State Department and the FBI, in which the FBI would agree to effectively hide the fact that a Clinton email was classified in exchange for more legal attaché positions that would benefit the FBI abroad and allow them to send more agents to countries where the FBI's access is ordinarily restricted. The quid pro quo would have involved the FBI providing some other public reason for withholding the Clinton email from disclosure amid a Freedom of Information Act request because its classification level. There are no indications the proposed arrangement ever took place. And in the face of mounting criticism aimed at the FBI, the documents revealed that Comey quoted the 19th century poet, excuse me, Ralph Waldo Emerson by assuring his subordinates, to be great is to be misunderstood. The FBI did not respond to Fox News' request for comment on the released emails. On October 28, 2016, Comey upended the presidential campaign by informing Congress that the FBI would quickly review the Wiener laptop. The Justice Department's internal watchdog later faulted the FBI for failing to review the Wiener laptop through much of the fall 2016, and suggested it was possible that now fired FBI agent Peter Strzok may have slow-walked the laptop analysis until other federal prosecutors pressured the FBI to review its contents. On the afternoon of October 28, Clinton lawyer David Kendall demanded answers from the FBI, and the agency jumped into action, the email showed. Excuse me for a moment. I know it is annoying when people cough. I try to keep it to a minimum. I've got some warm tea here. Hopefully this will help to quell the coughing. If not, I may have to wait to do this till tomorrow, but let's see. All right. Many of the emails found on the computer were between Clinton and her senior advisor, Huma Abedin, Weiner's now estranged wife. Despite claims by top FBI officials, including Strzok, several of those emails were determined to contain classified information. I received the email below from David Kendall, and I called him back. Then FBI General Counsel James Baker wrote to the agency's top brass, including Comey, Page, and Strzok, in an email. Before doing so, I alerted DOJ via email that I would do that. Page and Strzok eventually were revealed to have an extramarital affair, and Strzok was terminated after a slew of text messages surfaced in which he and Page derided Trump and his supporters using their government-issued phones. Republicans, citing some of those text messages, have accused Strzok and Page of orchestrating a coordinated leak strategy aimed at harming the president. That's exactly what they did. Although a portion of Kendall's emails was redacted, Baker continued, he said that our letter was tantalizingly ambiguous and made statements that were inchoate, and highly ominous, such that what we had done was worse than transparency, because it allows people to make whatever they want out of the letter to the prejudice of Secretary Clinton. I told him that I would not respond to his request at the time, but that I would discuss it with others and get back to him. Now, this is actually, now that I am reading it, the exact same article that we read yesterday in the post from yesterday. So I'm not going to go through and read all this because I don't think it's necessary. I think that we have got this information already. Okay, that is a very odd, article or advertisement right there. I'm not going to speak it out loud, but hey, well, if they need washing, wash them. All right, okay, let's go back. All right, now, Q says, shall we play a game? Now, this is he has said that so many times, and actually I believe that line is from an old movie. I remember seeing it, oh gosh, I'm not even sure if it was in the 80s, but it was, I can't even remember the name of the movie, but it was a good movie. Yeah, I know, I'm no help at all, am I? I'm telling you, it's a Jeb Bush kind of day. Where are they now? Reference Public Optics, retired, left, refers to fired, forced. Okay, so what Q is saying here is that when they say that they've retired or they've left, actually they've been fired or forced out. Okay, Federal Bureau of Investigation. So these are the people within the FBI. James Comey, Director, fired. Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director, fired. Jim Rybicki, Chief of Staff and Senior Counselor, fired. James Baker, General Counsel, fired. Bill Presap, Director of Counterintelligence, Strzok's boss, fired. Peter Strzok, Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence, fired. Lisa Page, Office of General Counsel, fired. Mike Cortan, Assistant Director for Public Affairs, fired. Josh Campbell, Special Assistant to Comey, fired. Michael Steinbuch, Head of National Security Division, fired. John Glassalone, predecessor to Steinbuch, Head of National Security Division, fired. James Turgel, Assistant Director, fired. Greg Bauer, Top Congressional Liaison, fired. Trish Anderson, Principal Deputy General Counsel, fired. Now, don't you people say nothing's happening now. Don't make me have to come over there. Randy Coleman, Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Division, removed. Coleman authored 1. Anthony Weiner, 2. Unrelated, 3. Weiner, sick. When you see sick in square boxes there, it means this is the spelling that whoever he's referring to spelled it, but it's a wrong spelling. So Weiner should be spelled W-E-I-N-E-R, but whoever this was, Randy Coleman, spelt it W-I-E-N-E-R. So you put sick, meaning this was the spelling that they used, not me. That's what that means. All right, Anthony Weiner, unrelated, Weiner, sick, texting 15-year-old, sexually explicit, 9/26, federal, SW, federal, I'm having a brain fade right there, and I know that as soon as somebody tells me what that is, I'm going to say, well, duh. Okay, iPhone, iPad, laptop, initial analysis of laptop, thousands emails. There were thousands of emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Hillary Clinton and Foundation, Crime Against Children, that was all on the laptop. Kevin Kleinsmith, track and follow. Now, Q is telling us, okay, these are the people that have been fired or forced out. These are the people that you still have to track and follow. That's what he's saying. Kevin Kleinsmith, track and follow. Tashina Gahar, track and follow. Sally Moyer, track and follow. Jason V. Herring, track and follow. Nothing being done? Well, I would say that there's plenty being done. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Fake news? Q. No, that's not fake news. Anything we hear from Q, we can pretty much bank on because it always seems to come to pass exactly how he said. Maybe not in the time frame that we think it's going to happen, but it does happen. All right, so below I've just got a few little comments here. Another article. So this Q provided us another article regarding the FBI General Counsel Baker consulting with Kendall, who is HRC's lawyer, about her emails. Most of the top admin in the FBI has been fired or forced to leave. Q is asking us to track and follow the remaining names. So that is exactly what this drop is about. It's providing us another article that is telling us about Counsel Baker consulting with Hillary Rodham Clinton's lawyer about the emails, and it's showing us that most of the top admin in the FBI is out. Now, why? That's unprecedented. That has never happened in the history of the FBI. So we know that something major is going on. It's not just as the press would like us to believe that, well, Trump just can't get along with anyone, so he fires everyone. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He wouldn't do that. He's not going to cut his nose off despite his face. And he's not stupid no matter what they say. So, no, it has nothing to do with that. He can't just fire people willy-nilly. There's got to be a reason. So these people have been forced out with good reason and fired for good reason. Now, Judicial Watch forced the release of previously unseen emails related to Weiner's laptop. The ones that they tried to suppress. It has been publicly stated that certain people retired or quit, but it means they were fired, forced to leave, or resign. So the people in the FBI have not left of their own volition. It wasn't just, I'm tired of doing FBI. Think I'll do something else. Think I'll retire. Think I'll go home and play baseball. No, wasn't like that. All right, let's go on, shall we? And here we are coming up to the next drop here from today. And Q is making reference. He's referencing the drop that we just looked at. And then he's adding something to it below here. So we don't need to relook at that, but we do need to look at this. And he's giving us a link here to a Twitter account. So let's go have a look at that. All right, this should be retweeted everywhere. The scope of the Hillary Clinton email investigation was so private, the Office of the Inspector General didn't have the security clearances needed to view the emails, and the emails couldn't be given to Congress. Just wow. Listen. All right, that's exactly what we'll do. All right, let's...
them as Orcon.
This committee, in a secure format, the classified emails.
What I can, to a certain extent, I cannot provide a certain segment of them because the agency that owns the information for those emails has limited the distribution on those. So they're characterizing them as Orcon.
Explain what Orcon is.
Originator control. So I can't give them to even Congress without getting the agency's permission to provide them. So they have been provided.
Which agency?
I can't say that here in an open hearing, sir.
So you can't even tell me which agency won't allow us as members of Congress to see something that Hillary Clinton allowed somebody without a security clearance in a non-protected format to see. That's correct?
Yeah, this is the segment of emails. This is why my letter back to Ranking Member Cummings had to be classified, because people would like to see this segment of emails. And this has been an issue not just with you and your committee, but with several members at this point. So We have gone back to the agency that is involved several times, and we can certainly do that again and ask permission.
Can you generally tell me, is it because they're so sensitive about signals intelligence, human intelligence? What?
We shouldn't get into the content of these emails in an open hearing, but
Okay. I don't want to violate that, but the concern is that it has already been violated and was violated by Hillary Clinton. And it was her choice. She set it up, and she created this problem, and she created this mess. We shouldn't have to go through this, but she did that.
This is the segment of emails that I had to have people in my office read in to particular programs to even see these emails. We didn't possess the required clearances and compartments.
So even the Inspector General for ODNI didn't have the requisite security clearances.
That's correct. I had to get read-ins for them.
Unbelievable. Yeah. The scope was so private, the Office of the Inspector General didn't have the security clearance needed to view the emails, even though these emails, she had already violated it, and people without the proper security clearance had already seen them. Unbelievable. And yet, so believable. All right, let's go back and see what Q is wanting us to know here. He said, controlled by those who worked for the Clintons. They have zero control now. So what he's saying is the fact that those emails were not able to be viewed even by the Office of the Inspector General was because it was controlled by those who worked for the Clintons. But he's letting us know now, well, you know what? They don't have any control anymore. So that answers a big question for us, right? Because a lot of us are asking and wondering, because I see Hillary Clinton's tweets every day, and they're very annoying. I mean, really annoying. And it makes me wonder, well, first of all, I don't think she's tweeting them because they sound too intelligent to be her. But also, it makes me wonder, like, is she just free and able to do whatever she wants? Makes me wonder. But obviously, she has no control anymore. So there you go. I don't know what the issue is with Hillary Clinton. I don't believe that she's handling her own Twitter account. I don't believe that for a moment. And I don't even believe that it was her that we saw in the news a little bit ago when her and Bill, where were they? Somewhere. It wasn't Haiti. It was another, I can't remember. But anyway, I don't believe that that was Hillary. It didn't even look like her. Anyway, let's go on. Okay, now the next one, very interesting. Q provides us a link, and it's a link to Maxine Waters' financial disclosure for 2016. Oh, this should be fun. Let's take a boo. Come on. Come on. Oh, no, it's like opened like a million times now. Okay, hang on. Telling you, it's a Jeb Bush kind of day. All right. So here is her financial disclosure report. Clerk of the House of Representatives, Legislative Resource Center, 135 Cannon Building, Washington, D.C., 20515. Filer information. The Honorable, I think she's less than honorable, actually, but the Honorable Maxine Waters, member, California District 43. Annual Report, 2016. Filing date, 5/15/2017. Well, let's have some fun, shall we? Sure we shall. Well, these are all her assets and unearned income, meaning this isn't her salary that she receives. This is income that's passive, you know, like when you're invested in real estate or you're invested in stocks and you get dividends, that kind of thing, you know, passive earnings. All right. Well, what is this? The value of the asset is 1,000 to 15,000. Okay, well, that's not much. What is it? It just gives an address. So I'm not sure. It says income type, none. But it has all these addresses, and owner, SP, JT, not sure. Maybe this is some of her real estate holdings, possibly. This is $1 million to $5 million at 549 South Lucerne Street in Los Angeles, 701 West Barstow Street, Palm Springs, California. That's 15,000 to 50,000. Excuse me. American Golf joint venture. This is 100,000 to 250,000, and that is consulting income. Yeah. Would you want her to be your consultant? No. Okay, that's 15,000 to 50,000. What is this? Congressional Federal Credit Union, 1,000 to 15,000. That's interest. And DWS, California, tax-free fund, 15,000 to 50,000. ECI Holdings, 1,000 to 15,000. And this is FIA Card Services, IRA, 1 to 1,000. That's interest. Merrill Lynch, BlackRock Balanced IRA, 1,000 to 250,000. Those are dividends. Merrill Lynch, BlackRock Global IRA, 100,000 to 250,000. That's dividends, and the income is 15 to 50,000. That's 5 to 15,000. One United Bank. This is dividends, but she didn't earn any dividends from that. But she's got 100,000 to 250,000 in that bank. Lots of IRAs. One United Bank. This is interest, $1 to $200. Well, that's not anything much. Tract unit 3357 lot 96 California, 1 to 15,000. She didn't earn any income from that. Wells Fargo Bank, this is interest, $1 to $200. She's got 1,000 to 15,000 in that account. This is her earned income. This is her state of California legislative pension, $6,218.04. And Prime Automotive Group, South Bay Auto, spouse consulting fee, and it says non-applicable. National Football League, spouse pension, non-applicable. Mercedes-Benz USA, spouse pension, non-applicable. American Golf Corporation, spouse consulting fee, non-applicable. And these are her liabilities. Congressional Federal Credit Union, revolving charge, 10 to 15,000. Chase mortgage, this is $1 million to $5 million. Chase mortgage, this is on a separate residence, 250,000 to 500,000, and this is a third residence, another mortgage, 100,000 to 250,000 at another address. All in, well, this is in Washington, one's in Washington, 2 in Los Angeles. And Schedule E positions, she is a founder of the Black Women's Forum. And what is this? Travel payments and reimbursements, National Bar Association, she was reimbursed for lodging, food. National Coalition of 100 Black Women Inc. Phoenix, she was reimbursed for food. Spokane NAACP branch, she was reimbursed for food. So there you go. That is her, did you purchase any shares? No. Trust? No. Exemption? No. And I certify that the statements I've made on the attached financial disclosure report are true, complete, and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. Digitally signed, Honorable Maxine Waters. All right. Well, let's go back. Interesting. No. Now, Q provides that for us, and why? Because he probably wants us to dig into it. Because he says, what does a dog do when she has a bone? You are the news now, Q. So I think, obviously, I know people always called me a bulldog, and they said that I had bulldog tenacity, because when a bulldog grabs onto something, it does not let go. Now, I'm not as much like that as I was when I was younger, but Dogs generally don't let go of the bone. I call it worrying. They worry the bone. They just chew and chew and chew and work at it. And when they're done and they want to save it for later, they go bury it, right? That's what dogs do. Well, the link is to Maxine Waters' financial disclosure for 2016. I believe Q is urging us to be like a dog with a bone concerning this information. Perhaps he even wants us to do a deep dig on it. So that is there. I'm going to put it in the comments below for you guys to take a look at. See if you notice anything. See what you think about it, okay? So in the description, I'm going to put a link to this PDF so that it's available to us all. Let's go on. All right. Now, again, okay, this is from the 12th, and which makes sense because we haven't gotten to the 13th yet. I'm telling you, Jeb Bush kind of day. Just kind of, I feel like, you ever feel like you're just like swimming in caramel? It's like kind of like that. It's just kind of like a mushy headed day. It's gray. Well, it's black out there now because it's night. That's what happens at night. Anyway, POTUS, this can never be allowed to happen again in our country or to another president. Now, what is he talking about? I think he's talking about what he has been talking about for the last few days, presidential harassment. This is a new term we've never heard before. I believe that it'll be a term that we hear a lot going forward because I think that this is the first time it's ever happened. We've never had a president literally harassed. Oh, we've had people that didn't agree with the president and didn't agree with his policies or whatever, but we've never had actual out and out harassment, and never ever has there been a president harassed by the press. So this is new territory for us. It's absolutely undiscovered territory. We've never been here before. And POTUS is saying, I hope we never get here again. Something needs to be done to stop this. It should not be. It's one thing to disagree. That's fine. Of course, you're always going to have people disagree with the president. You know, if we all think alike, if two of us think identical, one of us isn't necessary. So, of course, we're going to disagree with the president and discuss the policies and perhaps be outraged about a policy that we disagree with vehemently. But to actually attack his person and his personhood, and that's beyond. That's beyond. So this can never be allowed to happen again in our country or to another president. I would agree. How do you deter and prevent this from happening again? Simply by terminating employment of those responsible? Simply by conducting a few non-threatening investigations? Or by prosecuting those responsible to the fullest extent of the law? Yes. Setting up new checks and balances and oversight designed to increase transparency. Now, he's asking these as questions, but these are not questions, they're statements. He's saying, how do you prevent this from happening again? And he's answering his own question. By prosecuting those responsible to the fullest extent of the law, by setting up new checks and balances and oversight designed to increase transparency, and to provide select committees with access and in-house viewing of non-national security classified material. Provide a check on directors, department directors, assistant directors, and all such ABC agencies. Absolutely. Establish financial checks / reviews of those in senior critical positions, audits, plus direct family close proximity. Yes. You know, when you get I don't know, I would assume that it's that way in the States, but I know in Canada, we don't have a CIA. It's called CSIS. And to work for CSIS, they don't just investigate you and your background, but all your family and those that are close to you. They investigate everyone before you get a job with CSIS. And I would assume that it's that way with the CIA. Well, it needs to be that way with directors, department directors, assistant directors, and all such ABC agencies. And they need to do financial checks because people like Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi and others that have gotten filthy rich while on, congressional salaries, that needs to be investigated. Absolutely, it needs to be investigated. How is this happening? I mean, we know how it's happening, but we need to put an end to it because we need to establish financial checks, reviews, positions, audits, and direct family close proximity. You know, is your husband getting rich because of your position in Congress? Because of your inside trading information or what have you? Or, there could be certain organizations that say, look, if you introduce this law and push this law, we'll give you this much money. That happens all the time. Payoffs, of course, bribes, payoffs. It's happening. Transparency in prosecution is the only way forward to save our republic and safeguard such criminal and treasonous acts from occurring again. Amen. We absolutely must do this. You know what? I don't think we realized as a nation the need for it. I didn't. Did you? I wouldn't have. I would not have believed it was so widespread and so prevalent. I would not have believed it. Sure, I knew that there was, dirt in Washington. I knew that there was the swamp. I think we've all known that there is a swamp, but I don't think we realized how deep and how murky and polluted that swamp really is. Okay, while some want to quietly remove those responsible and go about our business, i.e., save face on the world stage, those in control understand this Band-Aid will simply not work. It's no good to put a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. Not going to do much good. I don't know if you've ever cut your finger or whatever in the kitchen and you put a Band-Aid on it and it's like, you look down and there's blood dripping from it because the Band-Aid is just not going to do it. I had that happen not that long ago. So I realized that, Band-Aid doesn't fix everything. Nobody should be above the law, no matter how massive the spider web is or entangled that it is. This will never happen again. Truth works. Facts matter. Q. Absolutely. Now, this is a comment on the above by someone called Extrovert Covert. We are united, QAnon update, February 12th, and it's good, so I wanted to read it to you. Q addresses the whole enchilada, from the attempts to rig election 2016 to the conspiracy that was the insurance policy, the 16-year plan to end America, pay for play, illegal, FISA surveillance, acquisitions, rigged investigations into leftist operators, the free pass for Hillary Rodham Clinton and the establishment of groundwork to frame POTUS, Uranium One, the impeachment agenda, and the entire obstructionist effort are all just part of what the concept of draining the swamp refers to. Or relates to rather. Those responsible and or culpable must be made to pay the highest price, and it must be done with full public disclosure. New systems with oversight and the needed funding must be established. Government select committees must have broader access to non-national security level classified documents for review. Reviews of senior ABC officials and family must be expanded with dissemination of financial reviews. All in all, a Band-Aid solution, such as has been attempted in the past, will not suffice. In this case, the Republic will no longer allow anyone to stand above the law. Vanity, saving face as a nation, is irrelevant. Now, that was well written and very succinctly encapsulated the above post. Now, let me make sure there's nothing else here, and let's go on to the next. All right. So here is the next post, and it says, devices in the same location with the same military encrypt with the same service, yet hitting separate spreads, an unusual gap. Even accounting for pick, non-pick, transmit, plus minus data too. Sometimes we get a hit, sometimes we don't. We are past that now, correct? Q. All right, now this is a little bit confusing at first, and I understand that, but what Q is talking about is the deltas. And you know, when Q posts and then POTUS posts, now I happen to believe that Q and POTUS were in the exact same place last night at the rally, and what he's saying is that, you know what, you can have these devices all in the same location with the same military encryption using the same service, yet when you hit the send button, it spreads at an unusual gap. So what he's saying, you know, that, okay, it's not always possible to have a 0.0.0 delta, like where two people are hitting the send button and it shows it being sent at the exact same time. Because what he's saying is, okay, the devices can be in the same location, using the same service with the same military encryption, and two people can hit send at the same time, but it spreads it in an unusual gap, and so it's not always possible to have that 0 delta time. But he's saying sometimes we get a hit, sometimes we don't. But we're past that now, right? Like, that's what Q is saying. But really, do you guys need this delta stuff? I mean, hasn't there been enough proof? Like, really? Are we still back here where we need to have these deltas? That's exactly what Q is saying. So Q's letting us know that just because there are many devices at the same location using the same encryption does not guarantee that when they hit the send button that there will be a 0 delta. However, Q is letting us know that since there have been so many proofs, a 0 delta should not be needed to convince us. We're not children anymore. And I don't mean that, you know, to be patronizing, because I'm saying that a year ago, we needed proof. We needed lots and lots and lots and lots of proof. Why? Because we were all still questioning this. There hadn't been enough time to go by. There hadn't been enough things where we saw, oh, he said this and then this happened. There wasn't enough of that. So we were all thinking, is this real? Is it not? Is this a LARP? Is it not? You know, we were needing that. We needed that proof to convince us. But now, having been convinced, do we still need all that proof? If we do, there's an issue. Really. Excuse me. Okay, let's go on. Excuse me. Sorry. I love that tea. Okay. I couldn't find goat milk, so I had to use cow's milk. That sucks, man. All right. Let's go up to the next one, which is this. And an anon posted, well, I'm not sure if, yeah, an anon posted this. It's an earlier post by Q. And below is a picture. And it says, yet another Q proof. Nice work, team. 1 minute time delta, 0, or Q posted first, yet another Q proof. Now, I know we can't see that, so I've got a bigger one for us to view. You know why? Because nothing's too good for you guys. Nothing. Okay. So this is what this anon posted, and they posted this earlier post by Q from February the 12th, and it says, POTUS, this can never be allowed to happen again. Okay, this is just an earlier post from today, obviously. We just read this, actually. Excuse me. So, Q posted this at 11:34:13. Then, here, Donald Trump posted this at 11:35 a.m. So, and he said, beautiful evening in El Paso, Texas last night. God bless the USA. So there was a 1 minute delta, the difference between when Q posted it. I do believe that they were in the exact same spot. Q posted it at 11:34 a.m. In 13 seconds. And Donald Trump posted this on Twitter at 11:35. Exact same day, exact same time, pretty much. Within a few seconds anyway. So 1 minute time delta, Q posted first, yet another Q proof. And I would agree. I do believe that they were at the rally at the same time. Okay, let's go back. No, really, let's. Okay. So underneath, Q says, maybe one day we'll hit 0, colon 00, dot 00. Many zeros, x's, but that doesn't cut it for anons, Q. So, yeah, Q said, yeah, there's been a lot of 0-00, but the seconds, the last part, hasn't been exactly. And Q is telling us why that is, but then he sounds a little bit annoyed. But that doesn't seem to cut it for the anons. Yeah, I think Q's a little bit annoyed because people want the 0.00.00 with the hour and the minute and the seconds to be the exact same. But Q's already explained to us that's really difficult to do, and they don't have any control over that. And so he's saying, look, there's been lots with the minute right and the hour the exact same. It's just the second that has differed, but that doesn't seem to cut it for anons. Yeah, I really do believe that Q's getting a little bit ticked off here. That's the way I read that anyway. And he says there have been numerous deltas with less than 60 seconds between posts, between Q and POTUS, but none have been exactly at 00.00.00. Okay, get over it. We've had tons and tons and tons and tons of proof, and if we keep needing that kind of proof when Q has already explained to us that it's extremely difficult, they don't have control over that to that extent, then there's an issue. Then we're not trusting at all. And I understand. I know we can't just blindly trust. And nobody's asking us to blindly trust. Q's not asking us to blindly trust. That's why he's given us all these proofs. He's not saying, oh, just trust me and just, don't check any of this out for yourself. No, he's telling us, dig in, check all this out for yourself. He wants us to look for ourselves, to think for ourselves, to research for ourselves. And he's provided all the proof. He's not asking us to blindly trust. Okay, now we're going up to the next Q post, which is this. And Q has included this from an anon. It says, we are past that now, correct? Q. And this anon is simply repeating what Q has said. We're past that now, correct? And this anon has responded, way past this now. People who still need proofs will never get it. And then beneath, Q responds and says, mathematically impossible. Those who challenge have an agenda or are simply still asleep. The narrative has them. Q. Now, what narrative is that? It's the mainstream narrative has them. They're believing what they're hearing around them, and they're not believing what they're researching and seeing with their own eyes. They're believing what they're hearing from all of the voices that are spewing and repeating and parroting the narrative. All right. And then this is just referring, this person was referring 514-119 to this post where Q said, devices in the same location with the same military encryption with the same service, yet hitting send spreads an unusual gap. So this person was responding by that and saying, yeah, we're past that now. People who still need proofs won't get it. And then Q responds, mathematically impossible. All right, let's go up to the next one. Now this is kind of interesting. Q posts this, his earlier post he's making reference to, and he says the post that we just read, mathematically impossible. Those who challenge have an agenda or are simply still asleep. The narrative has them. Q. And then beneath, Q responds, spelling error by mistake. On the move. Q. So he's saying, I made a spelling error here, but that was a mistake, because you know how they have told us that all spelling errors matter, grammar matters, and to pay attention to all that. And Q is saying, oh, yeah, he always lets us know when it's an error. He'll say typo, or I'm on the move, and, you know, he's typing while he's texting while he's you know, in a plane or a car or whatever, on the move. But the weird thing is that when I looked at this, I thought, I don't see any spelling errors there, which is odd. And then above, he says, he's referencing his own post again, and he said, spelling error by mistake, on the move, Q. And then he says, oh, not seeing an error now, long night, Q. So he's saying, oh, yeah, I thought I was seeing an error, but I guess there isn't any error there. And there wasn't. So Q is just correcting that, because people like me would still be staring at that going, I don't see an error there. Because I was looking at it and I was going, okay, what's wrong with me? I don't see the spelling error. But yeah, there is none. So there you go. And that brings us up to the end of the Q post for tonight. And of course, there possibly could be other posts out there. Let me go check while I still have y'all here, just to be sure. I want to make sure that we have snagged them all for the evening. And it's slow. Very, very slow. Very. Okay, so we are caught up to date as of 10:43 p.m. Eastern Time. We are caught up with the Q posts, so I'm going to end it there. I have got a ton of Q-related news. I may come back because I know it's 10:43 at night, but I actually slept really late tonight and I'm not tired. So I may do another video. I may not. If not, I've got a ton of Q-related news for tomorrow. So I will inundate you. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys. I really love the comments that you leave. I laugh. I really do. Some of you people really should be comedians. All right. And have a good night. Sleep well. Stay safe. And I will talk to you soon. Good night.